Everybody listening or watching this podcast right now is thinking of that unforgivable dumpster fire person. Everybody, 10 out of 10 times. You see the word forgiveness, your brain immediately takes a right turn. You think of that person and you think, I don't want to forgive that person. And that's fair. And it may not even be appropriate to forgive that person if you were raped or it was something really horrific. So in my world, on a 10 scale, with 10 being horrible, unforgivable, and 1 being super easy, in my world, the method that I've come up with, it's in my book, and there's worksheets in there and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to start with the number ones. I want you to start with the person in grade school who stole your lunch, or the person in the grocery store who just cut you off on aisle 5, or the person who took your parking space. These are easy. You can forgive those people. Now, do you have to forgive your number 10s, your unforgivable? No, you don't, because there's other things you can forgive before you even get to that. Before you even get to that dumpster fire, there's things you can do. Now,
as crystallized as it can be, like this is real talk. Hello, welcome to Life as We See It podcast with A&A. Welcome to another wonderful episode of our podcast where we bring you entertaining, organic topics around faith, love, relationships, social issues, and true life stories and everything in between. And on today's episode, I have another wonderful, fantastic guest. Her name is Katharine Giovanni. You're welcome, Katharine.
Thanks so much for having me.
You're welcome. So a quick background about Katharine. Katharine is a 3-time award-winning best-selling author of 12 books. She's a dynamic speaker, a trainer and advisor. Her latest work, The Ultimate Path to Forgiveness, Unlocking Your Power, offers profound insight into the transformative power of forgiveness. She's a breast cancer survivor and has overcome lots of childhood adversities and trauma to become who she is today. So she's going to be sharing with us her story and also a bit about her book, which is a very powerful, topic of discussion, the topic of forgiveness. Katharine, you're welcome once again. Thanks for being here with us.
Yes, I'm thrilled, even in a thunderstorm, so.
Yes. Thunderstorms. Yeah, we don't have a lot of it here where I reside in Oregon. So it'll be nice to hear them once in a while from your end. Background, what do they call it? What's it called? White noise, is it?
White noise.
White noise, yeah. We'll take it as white noise. Awesome. So Katharine, let's delve straight into it. Can you tell us about yourself, your background, your personal childhood story, everything about you, as you feel comfortable?
Business-wise, I am one of the original founders of the independent concierge industry. I retired from that in 2020, but I taught people how to be a concierge and start a concierge business for over 25 years. I'm now recently a forgiveness coach. And that started way back when I was a kid, when I was in the 8th grade never mind what year it was. I was in the 8th grade, and I come from a very alcoholic, pickled family. Both parents were alcoholics. And I was getting horribly bullied in school. So in the 8th grade, my parents got a divorce. I was getting bullied in school, and I tried to commit suicide because of the stress. And I turned into one of those kids. You know the kids I'm talking about. They're draped in black, and they have one friend, and it's one of those kids. Now, granted, I lived in New York, and everybody wears black in New York, but I kind of bobbed my way through life until my mother got sober. And she fell down the stairs, broke her hip, and ended up in the hospital. And even my mother couldn't get a gin and tonic in Lenox Hill Hospital. So she dried out, we sent her to rehab, and we became as close as sisters. We forgave each other, we were tight, we spent all our time together, and then she got breast cancer and she died 3 years later. And I went back into this fog and went right back down into the basement, so to speak. But I came out of it pretty quick because I realized one day that if I didn't get my act together, I was going to die like she was. And I was 100% sure that would happen. So I quit drinking myself. I've been 34 years sober as of last January. It was the only New Year's resolution I ever kept. And I started doing forgiveness work because recovery programs all tell you have to do, make amends and these kinds of things. And that's how my journey into forgiveness started. Because everybody tells you have to forgive. Nobody teaches you how. And if you don't want to, then what do you do?
Right. I hear it a lot. You have to forgive. You forgive for yourself and not for the other person.
Yeah.
Yes, but
even
how?
that doesn't help, does it?
It doesn't help because,
Nope.
and there are levels to this, right? It's easier to forgive someone who took my lunch, stole my lunch, right? Than it is to forgive someone who maybe molested me or, So there are levels, there are grades to forgiveness. So can you tell us more? Can you delve into this forgiveness journey of yours?
Sure.
How did you? Yes.
Everybody listening or watching this podcast right now is thinking of that unforgivable dumpster fire person. Everybody, 10 out of 10 times. You see the word forgiveness, your brain immediately takes a right turn. You think of that person and you think, I don't want to forgive that person. And that's fair. And it may not even be appropriate to forgive that person if you were raped or it was something really horrific. So in my world, on a 10 scale, with 10 being horrible, unforgivable, and 1 being super easy, in my world, the method that I've come up with, it's in my book, and there's worksheets in there and all that kind of stuff. But I want you to start with the number 1s. I want you to start with the person in grade school who stole your lunch, or the person in the grocery store who just cut you off on aisle 5, or the person who took your parking space. These are easy. You can forgive those people. Now, do you have to forgive your number 10s, your unforgivable? No, you don't, because there's other things you can forgive before you even get to that dumpster fire. There's things you can do. Now, a few things that everybody always wants to know. Just because I forgive you doesn't mean I want a relationship with you. I probably don't. Just because I forgive you, it doesn't mean I'm going to reach out to you. I'm not going to call you. Forgiveness is selfish. It's personal. You do it for you in the privacy of your own home. Nobody has to know you're doing it. Also, just because I forgive you does not mean you were right. You're wrong. And just because I forgive you does not necessarily mean I'm going to forget. I can't forget. I've always thought that was kind of forgive and forget. And I've always wondered how people do that, because you can't forget, can you? It's still in your head. But what I'm looking for is neutrality. I want you to be able to look at that person or look at that memory or talk to that family member, and there's no emotional charge there. You can look back, see that memory, and there's nothing. That's what my method is going to do for you. You're not going to be happy. You're not going to be sad. It's just going to be gone. And you'll be able to live your life again.
Wow. That is so, yeah, we're going to go deeper into it, right? Into those proven methods you have.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Let me give you a visual. I'm holding, for those of you, let me use my other one. For those of you listening to this, you might want to hop over to YouTube for the visual. But I'm holding a water bottle in front of me that's a very dark blue color. Now let's pretend this water bottle is filled with my anger. When I first get angry, look at my body language. You and I can have a conversation. I'm holding it off to the side. It's easy. I can handle my anger. I've stuffed it in the back of my brain. I can talk to people. I could go out to dinner. I can go to work. I can have a relationship. Real easy. My anger is manageable. But what happens if I keep holding on to this anger? Eventually, my other arm, I'm going to have to use my other arm to hold it up because my arm's going to start to get tired. Well, now look at my body language. A lot of effort is being spent into holding up this anger. And if I keep doing it, now look at my body language. The glass is now in front of my face for those listening. Now you and I can't have a conversation. And when we do have a conversation, I'm going to talk about the anger because it's all I can see. It's all I can focus on. It's all I'm talking about. My world has now gone down. I can't see a new relationship. I can't see the job opportunity. You and I can't have a decent conversation. And you're probably going to stop being my friend because all I'm going to talk about is the anger. And even if I spin it funny, eventually you're going to say, well, she's so negative. I don't want to be around her anymore. So using forgiveness is going to allow you to release that anger so you can be the person you were always meant to be.
That's a very powerful illustration you provided there. It's easier when you see it visually, right? How when you hold on to those unforgiveness and the anger, how it,
You
blinds
can't
your
do
view.
anything. You're
Yeah, you can't do
stuck.
anything. You're stuck.
And you're in your house, apartment, flat, wherever you are, and you're stuck. And
Yeah.
the real bad part about it is
Mhm.
you're completely miserable, right? The person you're mad at is probably living their life and not thinking about you at all. And that makes you even more miserable because you want them to
Yes.
be miserable.
Yes.
And they're not
Yeah.
thinking about you at all. This is why forgiveness is selfish. I don't care about that other person. They can go do whatever they want. I care about you. And what forgiveness is, bottom line, if you just dumb this all the way down, forgiveness is going to get that person out of your head. They're living in your head rent free. You need to toss them out so you can fill your mind with other things that are more for your highest good. Things that will help you lose weight. There's a reason to buy the book. Maybe you'll lose some weight. Maybe some more money-making opportunities. Will forgiving people magically make money appear? It could. And the reason it could is because you're going to start to pay attention. You're going to pay attention to things you see, to things you read, to people you meet. And you're going to start seeing opportunities, and they're going to start floating into your world. Why? When you get angry, you think that the anger goes out of your mouth and dissipates in the cloud. Nobody gives it a second thought, do they? Well, sadly, it does not. It hangs around your energy field. Einstein correctly proved energy is neither created nor destroyed. It simply transforms. So you have, like my glass, you have an energy field around you that is slowly making you sick because your anger is just kind of hanging around. I have a science chapter for all the naysayers out there. And there was a study done by this is really cool, by a Japanese researcher named Matsumoto. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. And I'm going to dumb this down really, really far. He studied water. He took one container of water and he said beautiful things to it, put it in the sunshine. I mean, he was just so lovely and loving and treated it really well. The other container of water, he swore at it. He said negative things. He did all those kinds of nasty things. Then he put it under a microscope. The water he put negativity into had black and brown formations in there. The water was ugly. It looked like it was dirty and polluted. The water he said nice things to, beautiful, crystal, gorgeous, gorgeous formations. Just Google Japanese water study and you'll probably find the guy. His name is Matsumoto. But why am I telling you this? Your body is 98% water. So when people say anger is toxic, what does exactly that mean? It means you're probably turning the water molecules inside your body dark, nasty colors, which are infecting your organs, which are making you sick.
Like that is as crystallized as it can be. Like this is real talk, right? Because sometimes I think sometimes people hold on to anger or to unforgiveness and anger because they feel it's their only way to get back at that person, right? I hear people say, I would never forgive them, right? I mean, in their mind, they know, hey, this person is going about their jolly life, living a good life, happy life.
Right.
But they still feel like I need to hold on to that because if I forgive you, then I have nothing to hold over you. So they feel like holding on to that unforgiveness gives them power. I don't know the right words to use, but there's something about holding on to unforgiveness, which
I understand. It becomes your story. It becomes your badge of honor. It becomes
your badge of honor. Your story.
It's your credibility. And I held on to my anger about my family for years and years and years. And if I lost my story, who would I be? I wouldn't have anything. And that's really scary. At least now I can spin the story funny and make people laugh, but I'm still telling it, aren't I? I'm still telling, and there's still a little bit of anger now behind the words. There's an emotional charge there.
Yeah.
And so the only person you're really hurting is yourself, because the person you came to this planet, the person you were born to be, you're not being because you're sitting around angry. Your best revenge on that person is to be the person you were always meant to be successful, to be loving, to be kind. If you're living, for example, if you're living with your number 10, first thing, and I think I can speak for a lot of people out there, please leave. If it's possible, if you're living with somebody who's unforgivable, consider seeing if you can find another place to live. If you can't, get forgiving, and forgiving as many people as possible is going to change you. And it's going to change. People are going to look at you and say, did you lose weight? There's something new about you. What have you done? Is it your hair or your outfit? They're going to notice. You're going to start to look different. You're going to start to look at the world as more positive, which is probably going to irritate the hater that you live with, which I always kind of find entertaining, because the more in customer service, the more angry they get. I become Susie Sunshine from Sunnybrook Farm. The more nicer I'm going to get, the more pleasant. And that's either going to help the situation or really irritate them. And if it really irritates them, in my head, I'm thinking, okay, that's kind of fun. But, it's going to change you, and people are going to notice. Yeah. So it's Jim Rohn has my favorite quote in the world. And he said, you are the sum of the 5 people you spend the most time with. So who are you spending your time with? Are they really positive people who have your back, who aren't jealous, who want everything for your highest good? Or are they energy-sucking vampires who just want things from you and are negative all the time and are trying to keep you down in the basement when you're trying to crawl up into the balcony? We weren't meant to be poor. We weren't meant to, just because you're spiritual and just because, our society thinks that poverty is good. We admire people who have pulled themselves out of poverty, but we were never meant to be that way. We were meant to be fruitful. We were meant to be prosperous. We were meant to have all these things. Money doesn't mean you're a bad person, because it doesn't. I know a lot of rich people who are warm, friendly, approachable, and the nicest people you will ever meet.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, that's true. Wow, interesting. I'm so blown away by everything you said so far. I don't even know where to take these questions in with. But I like how you said letting go of anger, letting go of unforgiveness frees you up.
It does.
To welcome and accept good things into your life, positive things. You might not know how much you are holding good things away from you, or you're preventing the light, the blessings God has for you from coming into your life by holding on to anger. No matter how undeserving the person who offended you is of your forgiveness, you should still do it. Not for them, as people say, but for yourself, so that you can welcome those good things, welcome the growth, welcome the prosperity, welcome the sunshine into your life. So that is so powerful.
What is being angry at this person done for you? Has your life improved? Okay, well, maybe you're a speaker and you're making a considerable amount of money telling your story about all these horrible people. Okay, that's fair. I agree with that. But when you go home, how do you feel?
How do you feel? Are you
do you feel empty? Do you feel that there's something else that you're missing? And you're being angry. What has it done for you exactly, besides maybe it made you a couple bucks? And for those people that are not making money off of being angry, how has it improved being angry? How's it improved your life? Are you sick and tired of being sick and tired? Are you getting every Tom, Dick, and Harry cold germ that comes around? Have you gotten COVID 100 times? Are you sick? Well, this is probably why, because you're holding on to that anger. And give yourself a chance. You're here for a reason. You're listening to this podcast for a reason. And God has He has a higher thing for you to do.
Yeah.
But you can't do it if you're just sitting around angry all the time.
Right.
Listen, there's a way I did forgive my number 10s, which were my parents. And it took a while. But I'm not a very religious person, but there is a passage in the Bible that gets me to forgiveness every time. Jesus is hung up on the cross and he says, forgive them, Father, they know not what they do.
Yes.
What he means is, if I am talking to a 5th grader and they don't understand calculus, I can't get mad at that because they haven't learned it yet. Yeah. So my parents did the best they could with the tools they had at the time. Was it good enough? No, of course not. But it was the best they could do. And that idea, combined with some serious mental gymnastics, got me to forgive them. But you're not going to get a number 10 person down to a 1 overnight. This is going to take some time, people. This is a marathon, not a sprint. You can get your 10 down to a 9, then you might be able to get it to a 7. And if you can't forgive the number 10, well, I want you to pick things around it. One of the things that everybody forgets when it comes to forgiveness is they didn't forgive the energy. You didn't forgive the energy. That's why people don't stay forgiven. You forgive the person, the energy around the person. And if you can't forgive the person, well, if it's a dumpster fire, pick other things out of the memory. Maybe it was a bully. Okay, well, everything on our planet has energy. Everything has energy around it. Even the inanimate objects have energy. So you can forgive your childhood desk. You can forgive the building where it happened. You can forgive the street, the table, the chair, the road, the path. You can forgive these things. I forgave 1974. I did.
Yeah. I regret the day or the year. Yeah. Okay.
And I forgave all the people within 1974. And that was when I was in the 8th grade and I tried to commit suicide. But I forgave everybody within the year. But then I thought, I'm just going to forgive the whole darn year. I forgave 1974, the energy around it, and I moved on. So it's forgiving the energy is going to cause an incredible shift, and it's going to make you feel better. But please, with every fiber of my soul, do start with the number ones and work your way up to that dumpster fire. Do the easy ones first.
Yeah,
and I'm not saying that, and people you rate a 5, 6, and 7 is going to be easy. Probably not. Your 7s might take a couple passes to get them down to a forgivable range, which is the 1s, 2s, and 3s. So it's like an onion. You're going to peel off layers and forgive. And then using my worksheets, I'm going to have you check into your body. Is there still an emotional charge? Are you still kind of angry? Okay, yeah, I kind of am. Okay, well, you move on to the next name on your list and you circle back and come to that person later. And you try again. Sometimes you have to try 100 times, depending upon who you're talking about. I got mad at somebody just last week, and I got into my car and I said, I forgive them, I forgive them, I forgive them, I forgive them, I forgive them like 100 times. And I'm the one who wrote the book, and I'm sitting in my car looking like an idiot going, I forgive them, I forgive them. Did I forgive them? No, I was paying lip service to it. But it got my brain out of anger into a kind of a different zone. So by the time I got home, I could easily forgive the person.
Wow.
That's some really good music that made me feel better.
That is so powerful. I like how practical your steps are. Like, just keep them in different classes. Level 1 people, is it level 1 or class 1?
Level 1 is easy. Level 10 is the dumpster fire. They're unforgivable.
Yeah, because honestly, sometimes it's hard. Like, people go through things. I hear of people's life stories, something like, wow, that is hard, So, so what I'm hearing I'm a Christian, right? So prayer is very crucial for me. So I think for me, one of the ways that helped me go through this is by praying. I start to pray for that person, right? Because as you pray for them, your heart begins to soften towards them, because you can't go and say, God, they were mean to me, they hurt me, punish them. God wouldn't do that. He's not a God who punishes, right? So
even in the Bible, it says, I do know a few Bible verses. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I fear no evil. Okay. Yes. He doesn't say build a house in the valley. He doesn't say go have dinner with a few people in the valley.
No.
He doesn't say, oh, there's a comfy bench. Sit down and stay a while. He says to move through it. And that's what forgiveness is going to do. And doing these steps is going to allow you to move through it. Now, some people look at me and say, I had a horrible childhood. This memory is awful. I don't want to go back there. I've managed to put it away in my head. Okay, that's fair. I understand that, but I'm only asking you to go back one more time to forgive all the players in that memory so you can move forward and never think about it again.
That's powerful. That's fantastic. Wow. So another thing you mentioned, which I think is very crucial, is even though you've forgiven, don't go back. Don't keep seeking those circumstances or those people, right? That puts you in very negative.
You want to move on from
hurting you. Yeah, you forgive, but don't be a doormat. Don't be, because I think, again, as human beings, we have to establish strong boundaries, right?
Right.
So if I have a friend or someone who keeps hurting me, right, I can forgive them, and it's okay for me to step away from that friendship or relationship.
100%.
Because I'm protecting myself.
That's for your mental health, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just because I forgive this person doesn't mean I want them in my life. I probably don't. Should you ghost them? Maybe. It's not rude. It's not mean. You're protecting your mental health. And if they're not, if they're really hurting your mental health, then you need to set serious boundaries
Right, right.
and be proud of yourself for doing it.
Yeah, because I feel like every day as humans, right, living in a broken world, we're always exposed to number one, to class one people
Sure.
who hurt us, right? Even Jesus said in the Bible, it says the disciples are asking him that how many times should I forgive my brother if he offends me?
7
He said,
times 70.
Yeah, as many times, because just like we hurt others hurt us, we also hurt others. So we should hold space for people, right? But in holding space, don't always be that person that puts yourself in that situation
right.
where you keep, getting offended by people.
And forgive yourself. You might be your own number 10.
Yes.
You might be the one
you might be your own number 10.
And so my answer to that one is like every other number 10. If you can't forgive yourself, okay, here's something that'll blow your mind. Forgive yourself for not being able to forgive yourself. And the energy around that thought. Maybe that's as far as you can get. That's fine. Okay, well, maybe you can think up some memories, and maybe the memory you're trying to forgive, you need to forgive yourself. Maybe you did something wrong, said something, you might have said something, did something, pushed somebody, whatever it is. Well, maybe there's other people and objects within that memory that you could forgive. Like the passerby who didn't stop to help. You could forgive that person. Maybe there was a chair in the room. You could forgive the chair. I'm actually not kidding. There's other things within that memory that you can forgive. For example, I'm a breast cancer survivor. I've been clean for, I think, 12 years or something like that. And when I have forgiven the cancer, I forgave the doctors, I forgave the chemo, I forgave the chemo chair, I forgave the room I had the chemo in, I forgave radiation and all the operations. I sat there and must have forgiven everything. You can forgive inanimate objects. It's going to make you feel better. And you forgive the energy around all of these things.
Interesting. That is really powerful. So in forgiving all of those inanimate objects, it kind of helps you eventually forgive the real thing. Wow.
It does.
So, you just mentioned something that really struck me, because a lot of times it's not about other people, it's about ourselves. We're so mad and unforgiving towards ourselves that we sabotage ourselves in so many ways.
That's right.
We're not kind to ourselves.
No, that's why you're drinking and overeating.
What? Sorry?
That's why you're drinking and overeating.
Yes. Wow. So how can people who feel like maybe they've made mistakes, like people who are mad and unforgiving towards themselves? I know you've mentioned like forgiving the objects around you. Like how can they even become aware that that's what is happening, right? That the reason why you're sabotaging yourself. Yeah, please go ahead.
Because as they're listening to your question to me, it's causing an emotional reaction inside of their body. And they're listening to it and they're thinking, maybe I do need to forgive myself, but I don't want to forgive myself. But they're telling me I have to I don't want to. So that's when you forgive yourself for not being able to forgive yourself. And you wait 24 hours and you try it again. And if that's still the only thing you can forgive, okay, well, now I want you to forgive the energy around yourself and nothing else. Okay, keep going. In other words, you're literally, it's a breadcrumb trail. And you're slowly but surely going to get to the center of that onion as you peel off the layers. And eventually you'll be able to forgive yourself. So you just forgive other pieces of the reason why, whatever memory, whatever it is. And if eventually you can't forgive yourself because you really hurt somebody, well, forgive what you can and move on. You can't go back to the past. You're not a time traveler. Yeah. All we have is for today. So today is a brand new day. You're not that person anymore because you're not. But you can forgive the person that you were and move on. Because you are not that person. And the fact you're even entertaining the fact that you want to forgive yourself for something you did in the past is a huge, just even the thought is a huge step. And today's a brand new day. You are not that person anymore. And if you're still rolling with all the people who you knew back then, who consider you that person, well, consider getting another group of friends. Today's a brand new day, but forgive yourself for not being able to forgive yourself if you can't forgive yourself for whatever traumatic event you're thinking about.
It's fantastic.
They can do this.
Yeah, yes, they can do this. So, Katharine, can you walk us through when, I know you said you had to come to the realization of needing to forgive your parents, right? So what were some of the benefits or things you began to see change around you once you made that decision to forgive?
The sun looked sunnier. I all of a sudden had a desire to leave my apartment. I started to drop a little weight. And why? Because I started to take care of myself. I went outside. I started to eat a little healthier. I started to talk to people again. The world just seemed better somehow. And I got curious about what other things were out there. What else is out there? We didn't have the internet back then. But, I got curious. There's got to be other opportunities for me out there. And maybe I do want to start meeting people. So you're going to start to change. It's almost like you're going from your cocoon and you're turning into a butterfly. And I'm actually serious about that. And in order for that caterpillar to turn into a butterfly, if you've ever watched the process, it's not clean and beautiful like everybody would lead you to believe. That poor little thing turns into goo. It turns into goo inside that cocoon, and then it emerges as a butterfly. So we're kind of in the goo stage, aren't we? So by forgiving people, you're going to open up your life. You're going to see opportunities. You're going to start treating yourself better. And everybody around you is going to notice. They're going to want to know what you're doing. I want some of that. What are you doing? You're just going to start to feel better. And you're going to start to trust your intuition, that little bird on your shoulder. You're going to start to be able to hear it. You couldn't hear it before because, you were angry. But once you start to clear the fog, you're going to be able to hear that little bird in your shoulder and trust it. It knows where you should go and it can see farther than you can. I wrote a book about that too, because of course I did.
Wow, that is impressive. So how do you know you have forgiven someone fully? Because, for instance, for me, I know there was a time I had some kind of unforgiving spirit towards someone. And I actually tell myself, I've forgiven. I pray for them, I'm fine, I'm forgiving. And then when I'm having a bad day sometimes, and I'm like, if not for what they did, I just somehow, my brain has a way of just, looking for every reason to explain why, and then, of course, I look for the low-hanging fruit, which is this person who I'm mad at, right? I'm like, and then it comes back to me. I'm like, oh my God, I thought I had forgiven them, but I haven't. So how do you know? Because and you said with your number 10 people, it's a continuous process. It's not. How do you know? When do you know you have fully and completely forgiven?
Great question.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, I'm all for giving myself 24 hours to be upset. Go eat a pint of Ben and Jerry ice cream. Go walk. Go run. I wouldn't suggest drinking a fifth of scotch, but do what you need to do when you're angry. Give yourself 24 hours to pity yourself and do what woe is me's and that kind of thing. But it's like everything. It's like, I don't mind you being on your pity pot, but please flush when you stand up, okay? So I give you 24 hours and then I want you to work your way towards forgiveness. You've forgiven when you go on Facebook or social media or TikTok, or you see somebody at a party, or you see this person's name written on a piece of paper and you don't care. You go on Facebook and you see one of your childhood bullies and you see that childhood bully has broken their leg. Come on, don't lie to me. Everybody does this. 10 out of 10 people. Don't we all look at them and say, karma, you're not exactly upset about it. They deserved it, you might say. And you're sitting there thinking, poor you. And you're thinking, no, I'm kind of happy you broke your leg. Good for you. So when you can look at that bully and you're not going to feel good things about this person, you're not going to feel bad things, you're going to feel neutral. You're not going to care. There's no emotional charge. I can look at that person's name or I can think about that person's name in my mind and there's nothing. And it's going to, and it's probably going to shock you. You're going to do a double take. Wait, what? It's literally going to take your breath away because you've had such an emotional charge about this person for so many years. Now, all of a sudden, nothing. And that's a beautiful thing. I'm looking for neutrality. I'm looking for absolute no emotional charge at all. That's when you know you've truly forgiven somebody. You really don't care. And remember, I'm going to say it again. Forgiveness is selfish. It doesn't mean they were right. They weren't. It doesn't mean you want a relationship with them. You probably don't. Forgiveness is done for you. You can do it in the privacy of your own home. Nobody has to know. And you can forgive dead people. Because it doesn't matter. Because you forgive for you, where they are or are not, doesn't matter a lick. It doesn't matter. You can forgive people who have passed. It doesn't matter where they are. So when you write your lists of people, write as many names as you want. I want you to do this before bed because your body heals itself as it sleeps. And I don't really want you to do more than 10 at a time.
Okay.
Why do I not want you to do 10 at a time? Because when I came up with this method, some friends of mine, and I came up with it in 2020. And so being the overachiever that I am, I wrote this mammoth list. There must have been 50 names, places. And I thought, it's going to be like a Band-Aid. This is going to be great. I'm going to rip that Band-Aid off and I'm going to be free of all of it. Okay. So I went through the entire list and I went to bed that night and I spent the next 3 days in bed with what everybody thought was a stomach flu. It was not the stomach flu. Remember, energy is neither created nor destroyed. It transforms. And all of those water molecules in my body had to be released somehow. Sometimes most people get really sleepy, which is why I want you to do it before your bed, and your body will heal itself. And sometimes for the more traumatic ones, I don't know how to delicately say this. Let's just say you might be in the bathroom for a little bit. Okay. You are not sick. You did not eat a piece of bad fish. It is just your body trying to clear out your body of all the negativity. So just drink a lot of water, drink some chamomile tea, and just take it easy for 24 hours and you'll be fine.
Wow. Okay, so let me get this straight. So your method is before you go to bed, take a sheet of paper, write down 10 names.
I want you to write down 10 names. And you can even write down all your names. Write down all your names, everybody you can think of. It could be a list of 100 people, places, and things. And then I want you to rate them from 1 to 10. Okay? And then before you go to bed that night, I want you to take the first 10, or I kind of want you to take all the 1s, 2s, and 3s, right? And pick out all the 1s, 2s, and 3s, and then forgive those people before you go to bed. And you forgive the person, the energy around the person, you forgive yourself, the energy around yourself, and then you forgive the energy around the whole thing. You don't have to burn incense. You don't have to get a crystal. You don't have to dance up and down on one leg. I'm a very simple soul. And you put your hand on your heart. There is a mantra within my book, and the audiobook is available too for those of you who don't like to read. You put your hand on your heart and you say the little mantra. And really the words are for the humans. The words are for you. It's the emotion behind the words that's actually the magic trick. So you say the words, you put your hand in your heart, and then after you forgive the person, I'm going to ask you to check in with your body. Are you still angry? Okay, well, don't put a check mark by that person's name. You're going to have to come back to it tomorrow. You might have to come back to that person's name 100 times. Maybe you thought it was a 3, but it's really a 7. And you didn't find that out until you actually tried to forgive them. And you're like, wow, there's more anger here than I realized. This might not be a 5. This might be a 7 or an 8. It might take you a few passes. And if you really, 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 really are having trouble, just forgive yourself for not being able to forgive. And then try again tomorrow night.
It's powerful. I like how practical that is, honestly. So what makes your forgiveness method different from everyone else, and what makes it potent? What makes it, powerful? And
it's the energy.
The energy. Okay.
It's forgiving the energy.
Okay.
That's the piece everybody forgets. And that's the piece I've discovered nobody really understands. You need to forgive the energy. Because the person has energy, this cup I'm holding has energy, everything has energy around it. And when I look at my childhood grammar school, it has an energy around it. And my memory of this school isn't that great. So I want to forgive the school and the energy around the school. Now, let me be clear. Let's say it's a family member. And there's some family members that come up to you and say, I don't know why you have such a problem with this family member. I had a perfectly wonderful time and my memories are great. Okay, with all due respect to your family, I don't care. I don't care about that family member. I care about you. Your memory is the only one that matters to me. And if you have a bad memory about it, whether they think you're lying or it's the truth, I don't care. It's in your head. It's your memory, for better or for worse. And this is what we're going to work on. We're going to forgive the memory, and we're going to get it out of your head. You know, all due respect to your family, I'm thrilled that they had good memories about this person. Good for them. You didn't. You're the one I care about.
That's powerful. Just being able to even validate, that person's feeling is something, helps them wrestle with that
As
person.
women, how many times have we been verbally or physically abused and nobody believes us? Hello. I don't know one woman on the planet who hasn't been, to be honest. And it's a real shame. Everybody I know had something. And I think that you can forgive that too. You can forgive the planet. You can forgive politics. You can forgive people. You can forgive your pastor. You can forgive the TV commercial that just made you angry. You can forgive anything. That's the piece people don't understand. It's not just people. It's things. It's memories. It's the TV commercial that just irritated you. Maybe it's a political figure, a religious figure, or maybe it's a celebrity of some kind. You can forgive them too. See, this is a very personal journey because none of these people will ever know it. It's your anger in your mind, and that's where my mind is centered. It's completely on you. And if that TV commercial pissed you off, well, let's work on some forgiveness. Let's forgive it.
I'm taking a lot from this conversation because I never even knew the depth of, okay, I know where I need to start from. Forgiving, waking up on the wrong side of the bed this morning, for instance.
Give the bed.
Forgive that.
Give the bed and the energy around the bed and just keep going.
Yeah. Ooh, wow, fantastic. Wow.
And that's a level 1 kind of thing.
That's a level 1, yes.
That's a level 1. I can forgive the bed. How many times have I stubbed my toe on the box that's, right at the edge of my bed? Did it the other day. Forgive the box. Forgive the energy around the box.
Yeah.
Toe still hurts. That's not going to, but forgive the box.
Forgive it. Oh. This is powerful. I can't wait, for people to get your work, right, and begin to enjoy it. And if you don't mind, can you share with our audience, where they can get your work, like your... Well, I wanted to ask about your concierge, I know you said you retired from that. So how was that transition from...
It transitioned because in the concierge world, in the customer service world, and being a concierge, which is like a hotel concierge, I can teach you the most beautiful words to say. I can teach you body language. I can teach you international protocol. I can teach you how to start your business. But those words and that body language isn't going to matter at all if you're angry inside, because your anger is going to bleed through your body language whether you wanted to or not. So I had to come up with a method. And a lot of concierge can't leave their kiosk. A lot of them are hotel concierge and they can't leave their desk. So if a customer or guest irritates the heck out of you and you can't leave your desk, what do? So I had to come up with a method that they could forgive these people and not leave their desk. And that's how everything started. But remember, this was the early, and you didn't introduce soft topics to a business workshop. Nobody did. Well, I did, because I couldn't figure any other way to have them get rid of their anger. And because I am who I am, I didn't want them to just get rid of their anger right now. I wanted it permanently gone. So that's when this whole kind of forgiveness journey started, is when I was in the concierge industry.
I see. Fantastic. Awesome. So can you tell our audience how they can get in touch with you, with your work, how they can,
Sure.
Yeah.
You can go to my website. It's KatharineGiovanni.com. And Katharine is spelled very strangely, thanks to my mom. Thanks, Mom. Katharine, Giovanni.com. You can also go to Amazon, and the book is on Amazon. It's also available as an ebook, paperback, and it's also available as an audiobook for anybody who's not really into reading.
Okay, fantastic. All grounds covered. I love that. So, Katharine, if you don't mind, maybe after this podcast, sending me the links to all of those, so I can put it in the description box of the YouTube video, as well as in the show notes of the podcast. Okay, awesome. Wow. So what is next for you? I know you're retired now, but what is next? Is this yeah.
This is the first book of 3.
First book.
There's 2 more books after this one, so I'm working on book 2. The next book is probably going to concentrate on forgiving yourself, forgiving the unforgivable, and possibly even forgiving things like money. Hello? Money is energy. We can forgive this. So this is the first book of 3. What really happened is I wrote the forgiveness book. I sent it to my editor, who's a really, really close friend of mine. And she said, you've actually written 3 books. And she chopped it into 3. So I've got two more to go.
More to go. That's nice. Wow, I wish you all the best with that. I'll be looking forward to it. I'll probably hop on. And this is on Amazon, right?
It is on Amazon. It's actually everywhere. You can buy it at Walmart, Target, everywhere. But the audiobook is also, I think the audiobook is on Audible and Amazon.
Oh, I see. Okay. I'll get my hand on one of those. Okay. Awesome. Thank you so much, Katharine. Do you have any
my pleasure.
Do you have any last words to say?
I can safely say everybody listening to this broadcast can do it. You're worthy. You can do this. You got this. It's just a question of taking baby steps, and be kind to yourself, because I'm making it sound easy, but for many of the people on your list, this is about as far from easy as you can get. So be kind to yourself and just take it one tiny little bite at a time. And start with the easy ones, which will help you a lot.
Perfect. Awesome. Well said. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, audience, for watching, for listening, and we appreciate your support. Please don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, share, and keep coming back for more amazing content where we can get us from Spotify, Apple, anywhere you listen to your podcast, and also we're on YouTube as well. We'd like to get your feedback, your support, and everything. Thank you so much. Thanks again, Katharine, and really appreciate you being here.
My pleasure.
Yeah, thank you.